Magic is a staple in fiction, and while not present in every fantasy, can be an important pillar. The world Kinoko Nasu and the many writers at Type Moon have created is equally vast as it is complex, being a world that focuses not only on the surface level elements, but weaves many fantastical spells around concepts or abstract ideas, pulling from religion, philosophy, and myth. This apiary of plentiful stories is bound to have at least a few cases stand out above the rest, as they challenge creativity with simply the idea itself, or how it can be used within its environment. From summoning the embodiment of Mother Goose's nursery rhymes, to the ability to see and bring out the death of anyone or anything. These are some of the many unique forms of magecraft within the Nasuverse. Note, some of these entries will contain minor or major spoilers for the respective series. A proper warning and timestamps will be provided to skip over the desired sections. Enjoy! Reality Marbles. The ability to project one's mentality onto the landscape before them, warping space and time, and even the laws of the universe to materialize the depths of their mind. Reality marbles are a branch of magecraft far from static. The identity of each is entirely dependent on its creator. It's a unique concept by itself, but is also perfect for the introspective nature of the stories they appear in. Because of that, it's one of the more utilized higher tier forms of magecraft within the Nasuverse, being a creative way to capture the essence of a particular character. In the case of King Alexander the Great, Ainoi Hetairoi is the encapsulation of Iskandar's kingly philosophy, summoning countless warriors who devoted their lives to the king of conquerors and would gladly continue to do so long after their death. He sees them not merely as soldiers he commands or subjects he rules, but close friends who fight and die alongside one another as they overwhelm the foe who stumbled within. As for him, having equal devotion, trust, and loyalty placed within one another is what it means to lead as king. This instance is from one who has come to treasure their place in life, materializing their place of warmth. However, that blue sky can also be clouded as it is for Emiya. Materializing his worth, pain, and misfortune, Unlimited Bladeworks represents the machine-like dedication to his ideal with the ever-rotating cogs. The grimy impaled land conveys the sorrow of living his life as a sword, a nature both saved and lost by the sword. Though he is conflicted by this path, due to his affinity towards them, Emiya's reality marble holds a vast arsenal of blades he can summon right by his side or pull from the ground. In this space, he holds dominion. Every projectile he sends, every blade that touches his hands, is an extension of his own body. Like Iskandar's values, Emiya's reality marble is meant to convey his outlook upon his ideals, which is expanded upon by seeing Emiya throughout multiple timelines, each occurrence of his revealing subtle to major differences within the path he took and the lessons he learned. As a result, each version of Emiya's Unlimited Bladeworks may differ slightly, from the original Archer Emiya to the Emiya Shiro of the Unlimited Bladeworks route, to the Shiro of Prisma Ilia, and the most drastic difference in Emiya Alter. Although they may live the life of a sword, they have their own identity and difference in ideals as shown by their inner world. For Emiya, this land represents his dedication, but the outlook and futility of his mission. His foster father, Kiritsugu Emiya, is another user of a reality marble, however on a much smaller scale. Instead of projecting it to the outside, he is able to conjure one within himself, allowing him to manipulate time from his perspective. He can speed up the time within the reality marble, allowing himself to move many times faster, or slow down time in order to strategize in moment-to-moment combat. While you don't get to see the warped sense of his mind, the toll this ability takes on his body has its own story to tell. These are only 3 examples of many that could be explored, each with their own distinct reality and the effects thereof. Projecting the intangible part of the mind is one possibility, but what about manipulating the physical thing, how the brain itself functions? As if their brain were a computer. One technique created by the alchemists of the Atlas Institute is known as memory partition, a spell where the mage compartmentalizes their thought process, allowing them to simulate multiple outcomes of a scenario simultaneously. What's more is when used in tandem with other spells within the same branch, like thought acceleration, hundreds if not thousands of possibilities can be simulated within the short span of a second, before immediately acting upon the best possible solution. It's not necessarily the most unique concept, but it breaks it down to its core, giving it flair within the context of a story, as seen with Sion's character in Melty and Fate Granddaughter with the Nemo series. These two fall under alchemy, the study and manipulation of the flow of matter. With any field comes many general skills needed to adequately improve and further understand the field itself. Some are fine with the basics, pushing them to their utmost limits, but others are more ambitious. To quench their lust for more, eccentric mages will mix and match various forms of magecraft to unlock something one of a kind, abilities far outside of normal human reasoning. One of the latter is an alchemist who with each experiment severed their ties to humanity. Fusing 666 beasts to his own existence, he himself has become an undying beast of chaos. Aptly named, Nrvnqsr is a hive mind of animals with himself at the core. From birds, wolves, deer, sharks, and so on, he's able to utilize and manipulate their features at will, or simply send them out in full. Donning the essence of these beasts, if any were to be defeated, such would not weaken him one bit, as he represents the number 666 on a conceptual and existential level, meaning that unless each one were to be killed instantaneously, they will be replaced or regenerate. The beast's essence can also detach from the main body, and used in numerous ways to fit the situation. It can be used as slime to constrain an opponent, or turn that muck into a beast when the time calls for it. Interestingly enough, this body of Nero is maintained through a reality marble he summons within himself, likely one of the only methods to move about the true embodiment of chaos. A vessel for chaos is one option, but how about giving form to something much more calming in nature? A nursery rhyme, for instance. The family of Nrvnqsr have created and passed down familiars of fantasy generation to generation. They are known as the Ploy Kicksaw, witchcraft able to project surreal fantasies onto the modern world. So far only appearing in Witch of the Holy Night, the ploys are commanded by the witch Alice Kuonji. In this case, the ploys she uses are inspired by writings of Lewis Carroll and the nursery rhymes of Mother Goose. Their very essence is fantasy, thus they are not of the world conceptually. This allows them to defy the laws of physics and interact with the environment on their own terms. For example, one of the 3 great ploys, Flat Snark, creates a wide bounded field, transforming mundane reality into a fantastical fairy tale within. In the story, Flat Snark is shown to bring to life a dilapidated amusement park, turning dull, rusted heaps of metal structures into vibrant attractions, all the while birthing fairy tale-esque creatures that attempt to devour its unwanted guests. No matter the raw strength and use against them, the only way to surely defeat the ploys is to fulfill the conditions befitting the story they derive from. Every ploy has some sort of weakness or condition to be deployed, like Thames Troll only summonable near a natural river or stream, or the effects of Twiddledee and Dumb being a complete dice roll on what they turn into. When it comes to ploys, the only limit they have is the creativity of the creator and its user. On the contrary, this next one is not necessarily creative in the idea itself, but more so because of its role and interactions within the world. It is not a technique or ability that derives from years of research and skill, but simply a weapon that holds enormous power. A conceptual weapon known as the Black Barrel. From its origins in the short story Angel Notes to its appearance within Melty Blood and Fate Grand Order, the Black Barrel has many iterations. It is simply a gun that shoots magical bullets. However, their strength is proportional to the life force held by the victim of its shot. It's capable of annihilating gods and the galaxy's strongest life forms. It does so by taking the notion of all things in the universe having a natural lifespan, calculating it, and firing a bullet composed of true ether, burning through grain and normal ether, the foundation of higher level beings. The higher the quality of either possessed by the victim, the more powerful the shot becomes. A similar idea is also seen with Otto Adam's Night Arm / Emperor, a sword that grows to match the size of its opponent, able to cleave even the ultimate ones in a single slash. They're not the most intricately designed weapons, but sometimes the simplest ideas are the coolest to see in action. Now for one of the more popular abilities seen in Type Moon, the Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. Simply put, the one who possesses these extraordinarily rare mystic eyes can see what is known as lines of death. Tracing them will bring out anyone or anything's end. A person whose arm is cut will be severed from the body, forever unmoving. A cut bridge will crumble, leaving no way to cross. The thing I personally love and find so fascinating about this ability is how it is not a standard kill switch, but comes with a deep understanding of the universe and the inevitability of death. Everything will eventually come to an end. Even immortal beings will cease to be once the universe collapses on itself. The Mystic Eyes of Death Perception conjures that end, no matter how far it may be into the future. This death can also apply to concepts like a predicted future, diseases, or even another's mystic ability. Like reality marbles, it's one of those abilities that allows for a broach into the philosophy of the characters who possess them. How have they adapted to life while constantly staring death in the face? What has that taught them, and what path will they take knowing the fragility of the world? It's a cool idea by itself, but when expanded upon by those who have them, it becomes a little more than just a powerful ability. After all, there's a reason Nasu has kept on referencing and bringing them back in some way throughout the years. And all of this is only a small piece of the varied, complex, and unique magic the world of Type Moon has to offer. There's a lot more to share, but these were some of my personal favorites to learn about and see in action. I would love to hear some of your favorites that I have certainly missed. So with that, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Later.